How to be an effective magician number 3. Are you willing to act in integrity in the way that you treat others? And at first I thought this was just integrity, but what I realized is that's actually an integrity in relationship. And it's an integrity in relationship to everyone. And here's how this works. We talk a lot about being on time, I feel like, with magicians. And I do feel like it's really important to be on time as a magician, to be on time for meetings, to keep the meetings that you schedule, to keep your appointments. And I don't know, actually, maybe people don't talk about this because I feel like I've known plenty of people who, don't keep their time or aren't on time or don't keep schedules. But it's actually so important, I feel, as a magician to be on time, to show up on time, to keep your meetings, because that is an agreement between you and another person. And it's really important, again, to be in integrity and to know that you are a person who keeps your agreements. I mean, as I say this, it's like, yeah, how are the spirits or the gods supposed to trust you if you can't even keep agreements with humans? Like, keeping an agreement with another being, again, this kind of relational magic, like the relational magic we were talking about with vulnerability. This is another relational magic, which is keeping your word to someone else. So if you're someone who cancels meetings or constantly reschedules them, again, I would love for you to consider, what would it be like to be someone who always shows up no matter what? And by the way, I'm not saying you have to do this forever, because I definitely reschedule more now than I used to. But for a while, I was really like, I'm someone who always shows up no matter what, no matter where I am, no matter what I'm doing, no matter what I have to sacrifice, I always show up. And I would do meetings on vacation. I would do meetings when I was spending time with my family. I would do meetings no matter what, because I promised to, and because I'm someone who shows up 100%. I show up even when I'm sick. I show up even when I'm not feeling well. Emotionally, I always show up. And knowing that about myself, that I always show up and I'm capable of always showing up, means that I can really trust myself. And it does mean I'm being in integrity. We also need to be really in integrity with money. So this is going to be a story about me now. So when I was in my 20s, like early 20s and, late teens, it was really, really popular at that time for people to download movies and music and stuff illegally, movies, TV shows, etc. So I watched a lot of movies and TV shows illegally. I mean, that was before streaming services. So, like my ex-stepbrother brought back like DVDs from Vietnam of all the seasons of House. Or, I watched like The Nanny illegally. And, I did this for years, but eventually it actually, even before I identified as a magician, it actually really started to wear on me. And I could really feel, like I could honestly feel within that it was really out of integrity. And it just did not feel good. And I mean, again, this was before streaming services. And so what I started doing was I was like, okay, well, only watch things that I buy, and I'm going to buy the DVDs of some of the things I've watched illegally. And to be fair, I didn't buy the DVDs of everything, but I did start only watching things that I bought, which again was very much not in vogue. Like everyone in my peer group constantly was watching illegally downloaded things. That was a popular thing to do. But I was like, I'm only going to watch things that I buy. And I'm going to see if I can buy some of the stuff I've watched illegally in order to, pay back those creators. Because that's the thing. It's like, I realized, I was like, if I want to be paid one day, do I want people to steal my work? No, I do not. Therefore, I cannot be someone who steals work. So, I would love for you to consider, like, is there anywhere, like, if you feel like you want to be paid and you're not being paid to the level that you want to be, is there anywhere that you have stolen other people's work? Again, this was really popular at that time. If you're about my age, like, it's likely that you also stole people's work. Like, if you stole people's work, if you've stolen other people's work in any way, if you have not paid artists and not paid creators in the way that they really deserve to be compensated, and instead you stole their work, I would, instead you like illegally downloaded things and torrented things, I would really consider, buying their work and, buying it online, or, at least buying the streaming service, like purchasing the streaming service that currently has their work on it and watching it on that streaming service so that they can, actually, I don't know how streaming service compensation works, but maybe in some way they'll be receiving the money, but just, or at least also going through a forgiveness process of being like, I acknowledge that I was out of integrity here. I acknowledge that I stole this work, and I'm now willing to be in integrity. I'm willing to only from now on, authentically compensate people for their work, because this is so important. If we expect to be paid ourselves, if we expect people to treat us well, if we expect people to keep time with us, we really need to be in integrity in our relationships. And I mean, again, this is the golden rule, which is treat others the way that you want to be treated. I mean, even more than that, I actually believe in the platinum rule, which is treat others in the way that they want to be treated. But when it comes to integrity, when it comes to money, especially when it comes to the way we want people to value our work, it's really important to come from a place of, treating other people the way we want to be treated. If we want people to buy our books, we need to buy their books. If we want people to, purchase our courses, we need to purchase their courses. So really noticing everywhere in the past where we have not been in integrity with how we've treated others, where we have not been in integrity with how we've treated money and how we've treated other people's work, and now coming into integrity with that, and knowing that we can really trust ourselves to treat other people well and to show up, and knowing that we can really trust our word with others. Again, it's not just trusting our word to ourselves, it's also really about trusting our word with other people and in the way that we treat other people. And that level of integrity is so important when it comes to being an effective magician. So yes, what I would love for you to do is to look at all the places where you have not shown up fully or not been in integrity in the past, and asking yourself, how can I be in that full integrity now?